Jimmy Butler, he's a very interesting player to me.
He's like, oh shoot, I don't know where to go with the ball because I haven't been able to think.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life. Now LeBron's a 4-time champion, and Anthony Davis gets his first.
It's unacceptable. So happy when the Astros lost because it would definitely be a 2020 thing.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov. That was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
Stay undefeated when they face the mighty Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared Sandler, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. We're going to talk about MLB Team Draft Needs. I'm Kevin, and I am joined by the man that just needs his team to stop getting injured, Austin.
I do need that, Kevin. The Yankees' injuries are killing me at this point.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about MLB Draft Needs. We're going to start with the AL West. We have the Astros. We put catcher.
Yeah, Martin Maldonado, 36. He's a good defensive catcher, but they're going to need a catcher coming up soon.
Yeah, and just replenishing the system is what you need, and you probably need to find a catcher. Rangers pitching, even with the DeGrom news, I was already going to say they need pitching. The Rangers have yet to develop a guy that they drafted and him do well, so just keep getting more pitching, and then that can lead to relief pitching.
Yeah, I mean, you're a fan of the team, so you should know best. And the Rangers relief pitching struggled, but you can't have too much pitching. Even if your stars are doing well, you can always add more.
Yeah. Mariners, we said middle infielders. There's J.P. Crawford, but their second baseman, they need second base help. And you can draft a shortstop and move him to second. But I think it's difficult if you have a second baseman and maybe he switches positions.
Yeah, changing positions isn't something you necessarily want to do, but if you draft some middle infielder or even a third baseman to be a second baseman in the future, it can always work out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's just a lot. Things can change. Maybe they can't be a shortstop in the major leagues. They can change it around. But Angels, pitching, they really need help just developing that.
Yeah, they've that's been their biggest need for I can't even think for how long, and they just can't seem to get it right. Nobody besides Ohtani has an ERA below 4 between their starting pitching, and that's a problem when you get to this late in the season.
Yeah, that's very true. True. Now we get to athletics, just everything.
Yeah, this team is a dumpster fire. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah. And just take anything and you'll be better. Now we go to the AL Central outfield for the Twins.
Yeah, the Twins, they have good defensive outfielders with Michael A. Taylor and others, but the problem is they can't hit. And when normally your outfield position, especially left and right field, are supposed to be some of the guys generating the most offense. I mean, look at our favorite teams. We have Adolis Garcia getting a lot of RBIs. We have obviously Judge for the Yankees. So outfield is usually where you get a good bit of production.
Yeah, and they also need to be good defensively. Buxton is always injured, so they can just help. Guardians, outfield as well. You have Stephen Kwan, but you could add some more offense in the center fielders and right fielders.
Yeah, again, good defense with Miles Straw in the center, and Brennan's good and right, but it's really center field that they need to address, and that's a good drafting position. There's going to be good prospects at center field, and really the problem comes down to can he hit, because Straw can defend, but the problem is he's hitting 233 with a 602 OPS, and that's very hard to manage on a great team.
Yeah, and now Tigers pitching.
Yeah, the Tigers are another team that has a lot of holes, but pitching is definitely their biggest one. They filled third base, second base for the future. They filled some outfield spots, especially with Riley Green in center, but pitching is the one spot that they really haven't fixed as well as they need to.
Now, White Sox pitching as well, they just need a lot of it.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're going into a rebuild after coming out of one supposedly and now going right back into it. I remember a lot of people saying that in 2021 they'd be World Series champs, or in 2022 they'd be World Series champs, and now we're here to the point that they're one of the worst teams in the league again.
Yeah, it just seemed like their pitching really fell apart. But yeah, Royals, everything besides shortstop and first base, you have some stars or some good prospects, but just add some more.
Yeah, and this is a team that didn't expect to be good, and they're still going through their rebuild. And I'm very confident that they can hit on some of these picks. They'll be good in the next 5 years.
Now we go to the AL East. Yankees, third base.
Yeah, they don't have many holes. We need more starters, but that's more of an injury issue than it is a draft issue. We have Rodon, we have Severino, we have Montas that are all that keep getting hurt. Uh, Cortez just went back to the injured list, so it's just another guy that continues to get hurt, and that's really the problem. But when we talk about just production, third base is definitely our biggest hole in the lineup.
Yeah. Rays, they can basically choose anything and they're good.
They're such a good drafting team that whoever they take, I'm confident is a good pick, and that's where we are with the Rays. That they are a ground built up, never trade with them, especially if it's a prospect, because you know that they see something that you don't.
Well, it did work out for the Rangers with Nate Lowe. Not we won't talk about the other times, but other times it worked. And they're just great at developing. So they choose anything, they're good.
Yeah, they didn't want three Lows. They had Brandon Lowe, Josh Lowe, and they got rid of Nate Lowe. They had too many Lows.
Yeah, they did. But it all worked out. Then with the Orioles pitching, they just need some more depth.
Yeah, and this is their relief pitching is definitely above average, and especially with the back end being in Cano and obviously Felix Batista, they're set. But they just need some more starters to kind of round out that rotation.
Yeah, when it comes to the draft, I think you always aim for a starter, but you want a good pitching prospect who maybe he just goes to the relief pitching. A lot can change before they come up to the majors. Then Red Sox pitching, and then we'll just get this one out of the way too. Blue Jays pitching.
Yeah, both of these teams are average to above average, but the problem is the division they're playing in, and there's so many good hitters in this division that you have to have good pitching, and when you don't, it gets taken advantage of.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays just sent down Alek Manoah, so they
Yeah, to the FCL, the Florida Complex League, not even to AAA or AA. It's a rookie ball league.
that's rookie.
Yeah,
Wow.
he got sent down far down the chain, which is concerning if you're a fan of the Blue Jays.
Yeah, man. I'm not shedding tears for that. And then NL West, Dodgers infield. They really need a shortstop.
Yeah, and with Chris Taylor playing every position, he's not really the best shortstop. Now he's good defensively and he can hit some, but he's better used in other places where he can be more useful.
Yeah. It's good versatility, but shouldn't be a starter. Then Padres, just everything, because I view this, they need to reload their system because they've depleted it.
Yeah, and you were talking about before the episode for they need it for trades, and that's definitely true. Some of these guys will be moved. I don't think the happiness amongst the team is very high, especially considering the fact that they made it all the way to the NLCS last year and are now, along with the Phillies, who we'll get to eventually, extremely far down in the standings.
Yeah. And it just always helps when you have a good farm system. So if you can replenish that, it helps. D-backs pitching.
Yeah, their starting pitching at the top two is very, very good, but it's just that bottom half of the starters' last two, really. And then obviously they need some relief help. They have good relievers, but just nothing too outstanding.
And then we'll go Rockies, everything. They just need to develop guys.
Yeah, I don't know what the Rockies are doing. They need to address a lot of things in the draft, and if they don't decide to really lock in and commit for the future, we're going to have a long drought of Rockies missing the playoffs.
Yeah. Now we go to the Giants infield.
Yeah, the Giants pitching has really excelled this year, and their outfield looks promising. Their catching for the future also looks good, but infield, especially long term, needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Then we'll go to the next division. We have the NL Central. This one can be summed up with one word: Cardinals pitching.
Yeah, pitching's been the reason why they've fallen off so hard. Arenado not playing as well, and some hitters having a lackluster start is definitely part of the problem. But pitching is by far their biggest need.
Yeah, and then Brewers pitching as well. This one may be a shock. They have a lot of guys coming up in the outfield, but not really sure about how their system looks.
Yeah, and their starting pitching has been extremely lackluster comparative to what we'd expect. Corbin Burns is still really good, but it's really the relief pitching that's carrying this team, and that's why they fell down below the Pirates as before we recorded this episode.
Yes, Pirates pitching as well.
Yeah, they have Mitch Keller, who's a great young starter, and they have David Bednar, one of the best relief pitchers in the game. But it's those guys in between that you really need to fix.
Yeah, and now again, pitching for the Reds. They do have some up and coming starters, but Hunter Green's kind of finicky.
Yeah, and that's to be expected with his young age and little experience. But I am really impressed by what he's grown into. But uh, the Reds, again, it's another team that you can't have too many pitchers. You can't have too many alignment in football. You can't have too many pitchers in baseball. And especially with where they're drafting, pitchers will be available.
Yes, Cubs corner infield.
Yeah, the losses of Bryant and Rizzo have really left gaping holes that they need to fill.
Well, yeah, Rizzo definitely hurts. I'm not sure about Bryant. Just seems Bryant then was great for them, but yeah, they just need to figure out who's going to play third and who's going to play first.
Yeah, that's easier said than done.
Yes, that's why we're in the chairs and not in the draft room, but we hope to be someday. NL East, this one Braves pitching. Just you need some more depth.
Yeah, there are some the holes at the bottom of the starting rotation, and then their closer has a 6 ERA, so that does not help. But they still have some great uh, relievers, and obviously they have Strider and uh, some other stars that are playing well. But they just need to fix some of those guys again in the middle. And like I've said a million times, you can't have too many starting pitching.
Yes, Phillies just everything. They also do not have a good system. They just need to replenish that.
Yeah, them and the Padres are in the same boat, and they're both here for the same reason.
Yep, well said. Mets outfield that's getting older. You should upgrade your outfield.
Yep, they definitely need it.
Now we go to Nationals. Everything they do have some bright spots, but hey, just select whatever you can.
Yeah, and I'm excited for the Nationals' future. They're definitely having there's good rebuilds, there's okay rebuilds, and there's bad rebuilds, but this is definitely one of the good ones. The ones where, as a fan, it's fun watching the games. The games are close, they're competitive. They'll win some games, but they still have a lot of growth remained.
Yeah, and that concludes our draft team needs. Thank you for listening. Let us know what you think in the comments. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time.